Halfway through my tour of Seattle, I took a ferry ride across the Sound and back so I could relax and take in the sun and scenery a bit. The salty smell of the ocean still brings me a feeling of achievement because I'd driven all this way on my own. You also get a good view of the city from out here.
I went to a place and got some oysters. I got my favorite kind of drink, a Bloody Mary, and that seemed to do the trick, so I'm good and buzzed. But right now I'm going to be going on to the Columbia Tower to see the city from above.
If you want to get a good view of Seattle, Columbia Tower is the place to go. From here you can see the whole city, as well as the mountains and temperate rainforests beyond. The Columbia Tower has been the largest skyscraper in Washington State since 1985. It's 76 stories and was originally going to be taller, but the FAA said it couldn't because of its proximity to the SeaTac airport. The tower also hosts the largest firefighter competition in the world, the Scott Firefighter Stair Climb. Almost 2,000 firefighters from around the world come here to climb 69 stories or 1,311 steps while wearing full firefighter gear. If you're wondering why I went here instead of the Space Needle, it cost me less time and I'm much higher up. Here's the Space Needle in comparison to the Columbia Tower I'm in. Of course, Seattle wouldn't be Seattle without the Space Needle. It was built for 1962's World's Fair and was once the tallest structure west of the Mississippi. Its design may look flimsy, but it's built to withstand magnitude 9.1 earthquakes, 200-mile-per-hour winds, and it has 25 lightning rods, just in case. It was hard to see at night, but I was able to see a rainbow flag flying above the tower during Pride weekend as well.
So I'm here at the Columbia Tower, and it was actually a great view. Of course, there's a Starbucks halfway up, and on the top they even have a bar with local brews in it. And I asked a girl there if she was drinking something that's local, and it turns out that it was Pike's. So I'm going to go back there and keep my bloody buzz going that's starting to wear off, and kind of treat Seattle as it comes.
As some of my viewers may know from my earlier episodes, Minnesota's beer tastes have changed since the turn of the millennium, but we're not alone. Craft beer may have become one of the largest up-and-coming industries in the Pacific Northwest. In fact, per capita, Northwestern states have a much higher amount of microbreweries, regional breweries, and brew pubs per capita than other parts of the United States. As of 2014, Washington has 281 breweries licensed by their state liquor board. Because it was the middle of the work week and the middle of the day, most of the patrons I shared drinks with were from out of town. Some were on business, some were visiting family that were currently working, and some were just like myself, tourists passing through. I may have stayed there a little longer than I should, but I have to say, I'd been traveling solo on a motorcycle and I never drink and ride. These were some overdue brews.
Had a few over at Pike's Brewery, going to REI. Oh, that was actually a ton of fun. Got to meet up with Chelsea, and yeah, they probably just both got out of work, so I got to get back.
REI, or Recreational Equipment Inc., is my next stop, and it's one of my favorite companies. Its business model is a consumer cooperative. A co-op like this is owned by its members or consumers, and it's managed democratically. If you buy a membership, which is a one-time fee, you're a part owner. Think of it like being a part of a credit union. You have a vote or say in what the company does. Headquartered just outside of Seattle, they have a huge campus here in their Seattle flagship retail store. The compound takes up a whole city block, and they utilize their space by filling it with a rock climbing wall, outdoor gardens, and room to teach classes about outdoor hobbies and survival techniques. Their classes range on everything from climbing, GPS and knot tying basics, avalanche and outdoor survival, bicycle and other equipment repair, and even social events like outings to nearby bars where the first drink is on the company. It is the largest consumer cooperative in the U.S. Believe it or not, REI's first full-time employee was Jim Whittaker, the first American to summit Mount Everest. He ended up becoming CEO in the 1960s for a time as well. It was a welcome stop, because I'm not sure what I'm going to run into on my return trip back to Minnesota.